rain. WeatherScope. Tornadoes are just one of the problems in the southeast where severe weather is raging for a second day. These pictures were taken in Texas yesterday, but there have been reports of tornadoes in Florida this morning as well, as reports of heavy rain and high winds across parts of the region. Good morning, I'm Marshall Cease, an awesome sight, isn't it? Welcome to WeatherScope. We've got details on this dangerous situation. With the details, here's Mark Mancuso in our forecast center.
Thank you, Marshall, and good morning. We've been watching the storms overnight and early this morning. Really two areas of concern. One has been in Florida. Storms there are weakening, though. That's the good news to report, but the damage has been done. We had possible tornadoes move through Orlando over to Brevard County, and we also had a lot of flooding in North Florida from Jacksonville westward to the Suwannee River. Up to 4 to 8 inches of rain has been reported, and we've had a lot of problems on the interstates in Jacksonville earlier. And to the north, well, strong to severe thunderstorms erupted in Alabama. Now they are zipping up through Tennessee into Kentucky and into western North and South Carolina. Severe thunderstorm watches continue through the early afternoon hours for the western parts of North and South Carolina, upper East Tennessee, and northeast Georgia. Later today, we may be looking at tornado watches in through North Carolina, so we want you to stay up to date on weather happenings in the old Tar Heel state as all of this energy moves up in your direction. Here you can see the thunderstorms. They're cruising. They're moving at speeds of 40 to 50 miles an hour here up through Tennessee into Kentucky and up into upstate South Carolina. And notice to the south, this other area of thunderstorms beginning to break up some as it moves across southern peninsula Florida. As we start you off, we'll begin with a look at the radar. One area of very heavy rain is moving its way up through the coasts of North Carolina and Virginia. We had 3-inch plus rains here. Lots of flooding reported in southeast North Carolina and the coastal plain early this morning. Now off to the west, here's where our low pressure is. And you can see the rain elements just kind of spinning around it, just kind of like a little cinnamon roll there. But off to the east, this is where we see our line of severe thunderstorms rotating up into southeast Kentucky and into upper east Tennessee. Severe thunderstorm warnings out in Kentucky for Harlan and Bell counties. Into North Carolina and South Carolina, we're looking at the strong storms. And South Carolina, Pickens County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. And we continue with severe thunderstorm warnings in through East Tennessee, Hancock, Hawkins, Claiborne, Cocke, Greene, Granger, and Hamblin counties. We're looking at severe thunderstorm warnings, and they extend right on up into southwest Virginia. Around Atlanta earlier, lots of reports of hail and strong gusty winds. Those storms have moved off to the east. Now we see them pushing through northeast Georgia and into upstate South Carolina. So this is where we have our severe storms right now, and they are pulling rapidly away from North Georgia. Now, as we take you to the south, well, here you can see things really quieting down here, South Georgia, North Florida, but this is where we saw the very heavy rainfall, up to 8 inches of rain right here just outside of Jacksonville, and that has been confirmed by the Doppler radar and by surface reports. Now, down to the south, this is where the activity is right now, and you can see it here on the closer view of the radar out of South Florida. Heaviest of the storms, strongest of the storms now passing through Lee County, around Sanibel Island over towards Fort Myers there. That's where we have some very active storms, so I want you to be on the alert for some strong winds, maybe some small hail, very heavy rains. And then off to the east, special marine advisories for these storms, so mariners beware. These storms should begin to weaken as the morning hours ease on. It looks like in Miami you should escape the wrath of this one. So that's the scene with the thunderstorms in the southeast this morning. What happens this afternoon into tonight? Well, we think the potential for severe weather will be highest in Virginia, North and South Carolina. And again, keep in mind, there is the potential that we could have some tornadoes developing in through here later on this afternoon. Last night, some interesting weather developed in Texas. Let's give you the view here from Sugar Land. And this funnel cloud was sighted, and a tornado moved its way through this part of Texas, just off to the southwest of Houston. Did have some damage to a nearby mall. There were 2 injuries, but none of the injuries were significant. But look at that. That is awesome. What a shot there, Sugar Land, Texas. Low pressure, as mentioned, moving its way up to the north, whipping around it, the wind and the rain and the storms on the coast, rough conditions, North Carolina, surf advisories, coastal flood watches, and up the coast, gale warnings. Positioned in the path of this storm is Jim Cantori. He's been out on Long Island just outside the Big Apple throughout the morning hours. Jim, what's changed and what are you expecting?
Well, Mark, you're on the South Shore. This time we're looking east, so you can see down the boardwalk here at Long Beach, and also as the tide comes in, you can see how the waves are crashing against the beach. But, you know, nothing substantial yet. Winds at times maybe 25 miles an hour, maybe 30. Really not substantial enough to even blow the sand where you typically see with an approaching storm. However, things are going to change as we get into tonight, as the winds do pick up and also the rain, probably sometime after lunch. And that's going to mean, obviously, a little bit of a mess for the rush hour this evening as opposed to this morning, which was dry. Upstate, up into New England as well, enough cold air locked in. We may have a snow situation developing there, one which will cause you tricky travel if you are heading upstate. So really tonight and into tomorrow, that's when we have crunch time. Wind advisory, coastal flood watches here in the tri-state area, and then up into New England, winter storm watches are posted. So far so good, but the folks down here in New York are like, hey, where's our snow? We've only had a ½ inch at Central Park, so they feel like they're getting ripped off a little bit this year, Mark. But we will watch the storm for you tonight as it rolls on in and keep you posted. Back to you.